So the other day I saw a post online about the upcoming solar eclipse that's going to be passing over North America here in the end of August, and I thought that maybe it'd be kind of fun to try to photograph the eclipse or just the sun in general. And I started looking into what it would cost to buy a filter for my longest lens, which is the Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter sport lens. Filters are quite expensive. It's got 105 millimeter filter threads, so anything that large is quite expensive. So I looked online, and there's a company called Thousand Oaks Optical that sells a filter sheet. It's basically a thin polymer sheet of solar filter material. Relatively inexpensive. I bought an 8x8 sheet off of Amazon for $20, and then I needed to come up with a way of actually mounting it to my lens. There's lots of things online that I saw, people just wrapping it around the front of their lens and securing it with a rubber band, to some other DIY mounts, and I wanted to come up with something that was simple and secure and held the filter film as flat as I could get it. So I went to the hardware store, started looking through plumbing fittings, and I came up with this here, which is just a 4-inch piece of basically rubber tubing. It's used for connecting PVC pipe, 4-inch PVC pipe or plastic pipe to clay tile or whatever you want, I guess. And it's almost the same size as the actual lens hood for the Sigma Sport lens. The lens hood is actually just a little bit taller and slightly bigger. But with a little effort, I could squeeze the rubber fitting right over the front of the lens. The only problem was I have to kind of reach inside and spread it out, which wasn't going to be an option once the film was attached to the front of it. So what I ended up doing was just cutting 2 little slits to give it a little give to it. I took my film, and then the other end I just rubbed some rubber glue. I had shoe glue. I couldn't find any rubber cement, but I had some shoe glue, which is basically the same thing, and I covered the whole front surface around here with that shoe glue and set it down right on top of the film. This is the film here. I basically just set it right on top of there, put some weight on it, let it sit for a while, took a razor blade and trimmed around it so I don't have very little waste. See, there's still a little bit of glue on there, and that's the final product. I left that hose clamp on there just to kind of help hold the shape so it doesn't get too distorted. But with a little bit of effort, it'll go right on the front of the lens. And with those slits in there, I can actually spread them apart and get it to go on. And it works pretty good. And there's my solar filter. The rubber is strong enough that it's going to hold it on there. It's not going to move. The film is not quite as taut as I would like it to be. It's not perfectly flat, but it's still pretty decent. The rubber piece cost me $5. The film cost me $20. So I'm set to go for $25. I've got a nice solar filter. Now I just have to wait for the sun to come out. Once I had the filter made for the big lens, I decided I needed to do something with what's left of the material. I didn't want to waste it. So I thought I would make another filter for some of my other lenses. Either with the 70 to 200, the 24 to 70, or the 12 to 24. I wasn't sure which I wanted to do. They all had the same 77 millimeter filter ring size, so I thought if I could make one filter that would fit on all of them, that would give me options. Again, I saw some DIY stuff online, but what I saw I thought would was going to cause problems with vignetting, so I wanted to come up with a different design that would work for all three lenses if I chose to use any of them I was covered. So basically what I thought about was either a step up or step down ring that I could use to attach the filter film to, or something along those lines. And then I remembered I have a Koken P filter set and adapter rings, and I thought, why not use one of those? This is the 77mm adapter ring for the Koken P filter system, and what I'm going to do is just cover this with double-sided tape. And then I will take this and lay it down on the filter thread, stick it down good, trace it out with a razor blade, and then that will then screw on to all three of those lenses with 77mm threads. And it'll be nice and small, easy to carry. This not so easy to pack away, but this will be. So here's my Koken filter ring, all covered with double-sided tape. I'm just going to take a razor blade and trim it up around on the outside and the inside so it's all nice and flush and clean looking. So here's that same filter ring with all the excess tape trimmed off, nice and clean. Because it's a 77mm, it doesn't have a whole lot of surface area, but it's got enough that this tape is going to hold that film in place just fine. If you had a smaller lens diameter, you would have more surface area on your adapter, but for what I need it, this is going to work. I'm just going to take it, place it on the film, press it down. There's the film, shiny silver side, if you can see that, on the outside, dark side on the inside. Take my razor blade, I'm going to trace right around the outside of that metal ring. And there's my 77mm solar filter. It'll screw right onto the front of that lens, and the other ones as well. Anything with a 77mm thread, I'm now covered in a very small, simple, easy filter make. Easy little DIY project. And I still have enough film left over if I want to make something else for a smaller lens.